We're going to go over a little bit about the wind farm. Many different people are going to be speaking about it tonight. What I want to start with is I want to point out there's an FAQ document online. This is a little hard to maybe follow, but if you go to Citizens for Greener Evanston's website, which is greenerevanston.org, and go to the Renewable Task Force section, there's a FAQ document there. It answers an awful lot of questions that people have. When we had the City Council meeting a month and a half ago, a lot of media coverage, and what we tried to do is right when something came out in the media, we tried to be the first one in the blog and put, go look at the FAQ document before you just start typing like crazy. It works sometimes, not so good other times. I want to also talk about the timeline, the history of this, because I think this is a little bit unknown. Back in 2006, the city decided to commit to the Kyoto Principles with the U.S. Mayor's Council on Climate Change. And Citizens for Greener Evanston stepped up basically around that time and then into the summer and started planning how we were going to do that. And at that point, in February 2008, the Renewable Energy Task Force was formed, and we came up with the notion of looking around at what Evanston had. What was unique about Evanston that we could take advantage of in our group with renewable energy? And one of the things that became very obvious is we have great wind offshore. And at that point, the original idea was 10 turbines, smaller version, so about 36 megawatts. So that's how we started with this. And then in the fall of 2008, the ECAP, the Climate Action Plan, was passed, and that was made part of that plan. And then we just recently had the City Council pass that unanimously, and I'm going to emphasize that. It was a unanimous vote, and that's where we're at now. So the RFI was approved. It's a request for information, and they just came back very shortly, just recently, and they're going to be reviewed, and we'll see what comes of that. But I know there were about 12 companies that were interested, and now we have, it looks like, 3 that we're going to be working from. And during that time, about a month and a half ago, I have never seen so much crazy stuff going on. So much media, so much quick stuff. In a day and a half, I think I was interviewed 13 times, and I know some other people were. And when one thing got on and then it got wrong, it went, it was like a game of telephone. And so I just want to kind of clarify a couple things that occurred during that. To read some of these, now these are actually some of the better ones. I put these up here, but to read some of this stuff, you'd think it was a 50-50 vote, like it was life or death. And again, it was unanimous on the vote. The Sun-Times endorsed this in their editorial, and they said, bad news with oil, oil spills, coal mine disasters, wind, well, we piss off a few sailors. And all of a sudden, I got a whole bunch of emails about that. I'm like, I'm a sailor. I think this would be great. I mean, if I was out there, when I sail, I always look for the Baha'i Temple, and I look for, a big building downtown, and I triangulate. This would help a lot. And actually, it'd be really fun to go out and try and get close to them and slalom around them or race around them. So please, if you're a sailor, this is not a bad thing. I really believe that. Someone had asked, who owns the lake? Evanston, who do you think you are doing this? Well, the state of Illinois is the owner of the lake. The goal of proposing this was to get attention, to get wind farm developers to come here and engage in that RFI. Well, mission accomplished. Right away, this went out. I knew we were in trouble / good shape when I clicked on the website. I opened my computer, and on the front page of MSNBC, it was on the local news part. And then it went to CNN, NPR, Wall Street Journal. It went all over the place. So it really made the rounds. Someone asked about decommissioning. Oh my God, these things are going to be out there, and then no one's going to take care of them. And part of the deal is, obviously, the goal is going to be when the power purchase agreement is set up that there's funds for decommissioning put in escrow. So no one's going to be leaving those out there. Someone had asked about, oh my God, they're going to be spewing oil out of the turbines into. That's what I said, but some people were absolutely convinced. This was before the BP thing. And they were absolutely convinced that these were just going to be spewing oil all over the place. And I'm not an expert on this, but I believe that the offshore are a higher grade and they are multiple contained, and there's not that much oil on them anyway. Sound, the basic notion with sound is if it gets, if they go that fast, there's enough wind that you couldn't possibly hear them, especially at 7 to 8 miles. If you think about it, planes go by at 5 miles, at less than 5 miles. This is further away and certainly not like a plane. And then just one kind of funny one. One of the interviewers had asked me, how tall are these? And I explained it all, and I said, it's about 80 feet clear on the bottom. And then I turned on the TV at night, and these are 80 feet tall. And so that one, obviously not 80 feet tall. It was kind of like a Spinal Tap with a little... How tall are they, Dave? Well, they are over 400 feet tall, but they are, yeah, but they're way out there. And we'll get into some images of what they would look like. So oil, I could talk for days about this, but oil has some tremendous, people call it the devil's blood. I mean, this has really got some side effects that are unbelievable. And I love this picture. This is a coal miner smoking. Double whammy. Why not? But, coal mines. So when right around the time that the city council was voting on this, we had the BP spill. We had previously, there was a coal mine disaster in China. There was a coal mine disaster in West Virginia. And, this is that mountaintop blasting, which is unbelievable. So, huge environmental damage done by these. And natural gas is not going to get a pass here, even though this is a fairly, better setup. Also, at the same time, a offshore gas rig in Venezuela sank. It was 1 week old. And I'm not sure if that's it, but that was the picture that made the most sense to show here. Thankfully, no current incidents to report with nuclear power, so we'll pass on that. And so here's the funny one. I got an email on this. A major wind spill occurred today at the offshore wind farm. No injuries reported.